Welcome, folks, to another episode of the HiTech podcast. This is one of your two hosts, William Millingworth, joined by my co-host, my friend, my buddy, my pal, my confidant, my comrade, my challenger, my coordinator,
you're really
my
seeing it in, aren't you? That's the
cross-functional team member. Yeah, I don't know.
Team member? I don't know what you're
It all pit around. Josh Schwartz, he's here with us, folks.
What's up, folks? Welcome to the HiTech podcast. How are we doing? We're finally recording tonight. Will and I have had a lot going on.
Actually recording on a Tuesday.
Yeah, we're actually recording on Tuesday, which is super cool. That's great. I love that. For us, we're doing great. And we're here. It's been how was your day, Midman? You know?
Oh, next subject. So
very simply,
at the end of the day, right? I get a Slack from a team member. So it's like 4:15. Hey, can anybody use Vimeo videos in our courses? And I was like, what? So I go into a course, I open a video, and they're like, dude, video's not working. And like, they're starting to freak out. I'm like, nah, what do you mean? It's fine. And I hit play and nothing happened except suddenly the audio started playing and nothing else was going on. So literally the video was separated from the audio track. Well, so it ended. I was working till 6 o'clock trying to figure out what was wrong with it.
Oh no!
And had to open a couple different support tickets, and I was using AI to try and troubleshoot CSS potential issues, and it was teaching me ways to check that, and it was a whole thing. But otherwise, my day was great. So it's kind of crashed and burned on the way out, but not that bad. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's cool.
But we're here for episode something or other. What did you build?
I built like my 35th AI agent in Notion. I have a problem. Folks, I got access to Notion's AI agent beta, and I have done a lot of things, that's for sure. Which one is my favorite one right now? Oh, the game poll updater. I created a game poll updater. So Will knows this. We have a shared poll form that I do through Notion for our game group every month. And I got tired of like adding another property. So like the system that I have to do, right, is I add a property into the database for the month that we're doing the poll for, with each of the Saturdays as a select option. So people could select it from the form. And then I also, so we can track it, create a chart view that shows all of us as we're filling it out, which days are showing up with the most availability. And I got tired of creating those, so I now have an AI agent that can do all of it for me. So when I sent the poll out last night, I didn't do that. An AI agent did all of the work.
It even sent it?
That up. No, it didn't send it.
You copy and pasted the link.
I copy and pasted the link, but it updated all the forms and stuff and everything. Yeah, it was a good time.
We need to talk then, because if your AI agents are actually figuring out scheduling, I'd love to work on that on mine.
Oh.
So, did I talk to you about this? Did we talk about this on the podcast? I cannot remember. I do a quarterly calendar for my job.
Oh, yeah.
And that calendar includes 77 different sessions we run across 6 different instructors across 6 different time zones.
Yeah.
And making it sucks. It's not fun.
You can definitely handle that. I believe you could probably do something to do that.
I spent 4 hours with Gemini trying to build a bot that could do it, and it.
Well, you just needed a Notion calendar and everything, and then that's
let's do it. Yeah, I need to switch over to
my
Notion.
next big tackle with AI agents in Notion is I want to set up workload numbers for tasks when I put them into my task database. So if I ever have to move them, I can have the agent look for other slots with that much space. I haven't quite figured out how to have the database do it yet, but there's a whole thing. I have one. So just real quick, folks, because I think this is cool. You literally can just chat with Notion AI to tell it how to create the agent. And it created instructions for the agent from, basically, it created, I basically just said, here's your job in 2 sentences. And it created instructions on how to pre-check, what questions to ask, how to do the thing step by step, its own evaluation criteria based on what I told it to do. And that was all programmed within like 2 minutes. And it did it. I now have an agent that just like can tell me what my week planning should look like for the week and schedule things based on that. I now have one that looks at all of my meeting notes after I'm done and assigns tasks out into the databases that I use in Notion to track all my my tasks.
You're amazing. It's a problem, but you're amazing.
Love it. I also created, real quick, last one, and then we'll move on. I had a meeting today with somebody. So, folks, if you've ever had to do this, right? I've had a meeting with somebody today where I had to do like a training with them to walk them through how to use a new tool that we were pulling them into. One person, I don't feel like creating and editing an SOP for this. So I created an agent bot in Notion who has now been, they also give them titles. They get little names. And this one's called SOP Scribe. Okay, so I used Notion AI to transcribe the entire meeting. Then I used SOP Scribe to turn it into a cheat sheet, step-by-step cheat sheet from the meeting. And it did it in 10 minutes. I only had to edit like 2 things, and then I was able to send the cheat sheet to the person after the meeting and say, here's all the steps we talk about in case you need to see them again.
And you just kept it as an SOP cheat sheet in Notion. So you sent them a link to the page
I sent them
in
the
Notion.
link to the Notion.
Yeah,
Notion page.
of course.
Yeah.
Why would you make that SOP somewhere else to turn into a PDF? Or why? You just
why? I could just do it that way. Anyway, this was my my last 2 days is discovering Notion AI,
how to build an army of bots.
I'm building a little army of bots in Notion for myself.
Folks, if you want to know how to do this, if you want to engage with Josh on the topic of Notion, if you want to, if you've got a product that does this, you want to talk about it on the podcast, reach out to us. Find us on all the social medias at HiTech Podcast or HiTech Pod. Email us, inbox at hitechpod.us, or head over to hitechpod.us, our website, where all of these links and everything else, every single episode page is available for you to look at, share with others, etc., etc. Subscribing, liking, sharing, commenting are all great things for content creators. So please do those things, engage with us in those ways. This is a conversation between Josh and I, but we invite you into it. So if you want to know how to build a little bot army, slide into inbox at hitechpod.us.
We'll let you know. We'll also probably have to do an episode on that. That's on my list of things, probably.
What would also be fun is then if there's a world where we could like make little Utopia world where we like personify all of your bots and we have this just army following us around Utopia.
I mean, I'm not saying I have one also looking at our podcast episodes to create notes for myself before I prep for episodes. But I may have that. It's fine. Anyway.
Done. Well done.
But that's how you get in contact with us, folks. But on a different move, it's time for the HiTech Podcast Court to adjourn.
Dun, dun.
Dun, dun. I was hoping one of us would do Law and Order things. So occasionally on the podcast, we talk about how to do things with tools and all that stuff. But occasionally we like to take court cases and hot topics that have jumped up in the world of tech and give our own takes on it. You know what I mean? That's what we'd like to do.
And so I will be the marshal for this episode, welcoming you all into Judge Josh's court. This is Judge Josh here for us, not Swartz. It's not Judge Swartz because Judge Josh is just
I mean, if Judge Judy gets to put her first name, I can be Judge Josh.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Exactly. Judy's not her last name. That's her first name. It's not even her real name. I don't even know what her real name is, but it's not Judy.
Okay, now I gotta know this. Now I gotta Google that and find out the truth.
It's probably like Karen.
That would be amazing. That would be amazing. Where is the... Her name is Judy Scheindlin.
Oh, really?
Get got, dude.
I thought that was a fake. I thought it was a fake name. That feels like
Judy
fake
Steinlein
news.
is a stage name.
That's a fake name.
Dude.
If I've ever heard one.
Yeah, all right. Judge Judy, first name, real thing.
Yeah.
But now that we're in Judge Josh's court,
dun, dun.
We are bringing today one of the recent issues of AI and fraud.
Ooh.
And this is off the episode last week of Moltbot and all that craziness.
Yeah, whatever the heck we did there. That was fun.
Wild. Judge Josh, what happened with this case of Spotify and AI?
So, if I'm understanding everything correctly, Will and I dove into the DOJ press release on this, and I've been I'll be honest, I've been following this for a while. This has been kind of on those of you who follow AI news. This has been on the AI news for a little bit. But so basically, what I understand, Michael Smith, a apparently 52-year-old musician from North Carolina, was charged in September with this is. I love this. I'm sorry. I think this is hilarious. using AI and automated bots to supposedly defraud music streaming platforms. Here's basically what this guy did. It had 3 stages, okay? Use AI to generate hundreds of thousands of fake songs. Apparently some of them had absurd titles, like Zygotic Washstands, I believe was
yeah.
Was a title.
I can't even pronounce this list that he has later on in the article, like Zygotones, Zymophyte,
what is apparently it was Calorie Screams. I don't know. Anyway, so he generated a whole bunch of AI music and uploaded it into. I originally thought this was only with Spotify, but apparently it was actually, as I dug deeper, was also on Apple Music and Amazon Music. So it wasn't just on Spotify. And then, oh boy, he created thousands of bot accounts using bulk purchased email addresses to continuously stream those songs, which equaled in Smith pocketing a total of over $10 million. Okay.
Ka-ching.
Ka-ching. Now in Judge Josh's courtroom, we discussed things that other judges have already made decisions on. So this case is over. It finally came to a conclusion recently. And they found him guilty on 3 counts of wire fraud conspiracy, and money laundering conspiracy. The question in the HiTech podcast, right, and on the internet in general, that we need to decide is this, because this is a big deal. This was the first court case of this kind related to AI, and related to musician songwriting, all of that type of stuff. And their argument is that he stole millions in royalties from musicians and songwriters who were legitimately streamed on these platforms. So it's a significant case in the way it crosses between AI and intellectual property. But the internet has had a funny reaction to this case that I think is worth discussing, which is that you have the side who agrees with the claims, right? Which is definitely, I'll be honest, a larger side. And then you've got the side that keeps posting memes going, is this just capitalism? That's the question we've got to deal with, right?
Spicy.
So the question is it fraud? I mean, somebody's already decided that, so this is not like an official decision. This is a HiTech podcast decision. I mean, the question is really, what is our take on this, right? And our thoughts on this, and also then tangentially just kind of the impact and the way we understand AI usage,
right?
And royalties and all of those, intellectual property. I mean, this really ties the intellectual property conversation that keeps coming up related to AI.
I'd tie this back to a little bit of last week's episode with Moltbot and saying that an open claw. And saying that this is one of those things that had to happen. Someone was going to do this because you sit down, with a couple of cups of coffee or a couple of beers, depending on your vice, and you start thinking to yourself, what can I do with AI? And you come up with these crazy ideas. That's what this guy did. He went, I should make hundreds of thousands of songs and make them hits, right? It's that idea is not in and of itself illegal. And really, when you look at the things they hit this guy with, it's wire fraud, it's defrauding. Yeah,
it's mostly
the
defrauding
businesses.
And conspiracy. Yeah,
the illegality of it wasn't making hundreds of thousands of songs. The illegality of it was not making hundreds of thousands, or a couple of bots or whatever to stream the song. The only way they could get them with these laws was to hit them with existing things like wire fraud, et cetera, et cetera. And I believe that this is a just ruling, but it's because we didn't get these laws in place proactively. Nobody could predict. I could have predicted this. I actually thought of doing this. I'm not saying I was gonna do it, but I have thought about creating
until this case happened.
Until I saw this case, I was like, I don't want to go to jail for 40
I don't want to go to jail
for the rest of my life. Hey, dude got maximum sentence of 20 years of prison for the wire fraud and for the conspiracy, the wire fraud, and laundering conspiracy. 3 separate things, 20 years
3 separate
each.
cases of 20 years each.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
60 years in prison. And this guy, I don't know if you know this, but this guy's 52. So like,
He's done.
that's not exactly, that's not exactly like I'll get out and live my best retired life.
The point to like settle, I think that we would agree on, at least, is like this was going to happen. It's not.
Oh,
it's a bummer,
100%. Like I just told
now
you
we
the other
start to
day,
set case going forwards.
I had my first case, at least that I caught, of AI music popping up on my Spotify.
Yeah.
Where like it was some band that basically was like a knockoff of Mumford and Sons. But they called themselves a computer collective. Like when I was listening to the song, I was like, this is a weird song. It doesn't sound quite right. And like I looked up the band and they were clearly an AI band. And we've also had, I think we were just talking like, not to get too touchy subject, but I'll just say it. Like there was an AI song that topped the Christian music ratings recently.
I didn't hear it on that side. So it's
no, it topped something. So like this was like bound to happen at some point. I think here's the interesting case. I think here's my take. I want to focus.
The he gets us people make the song.
The focus on the AI part here. I think this is clearly a just decision because the fraud part is the bot part. Like we have to understand he did bots, purchased a giant amount of emails and frauded the companies by pretending to be real people. That's already problematic. Okay. So that's, I think the decisions, Will's right. They got them on what made sense to get them on. So he's not really being, punished for generating fake songs. Right. He's being punished for then frauding the companies by pretending those bots are real people and then frauding them to get the money to them. I think it's interesting. They say they stole millions of royalties from musicians that should have otherwise got it. I guess you could probably make that argument because if he hadn't been pushing up on the charts, other musicians would have been up on the charts in some form or fashion. It's a difficult animal because like he didn't steal listens away from them because the bots weren't going to listen to their music.
But by being more famous,
being more famous, he took them down in the scale of royalties. So I understand this probably more than even the average person talking about this because of my band history days and understanding how royalties and plays work on those platforms. So I get that. But then here's the larger question. Like, how do we feel about this AI generated music vibe? Like, you know, like
that's where I wanted to land.
This is the bigger question. How do we feel? Like, let's say there's a different world where good old Michael Smith, you know, he's 52.
What if he just made all the music?
He just made a bunch of
music.
He put it out there, and the Spotify algorithms dawned it worthy to put into people's listens, and he charted this music. But not through bots. He charted it through the regular old fashioned American way. People, you know, like what happens if Michael Smith does okay, let's not go there. Michael Smith does it this way. Okay. How do we feel about it? One, I don't think it's fraud. Let's just be perfectly honest there. I don't think that's a fair case. I think we can immediately agree on that. But like, in Judge Josh's courtroom, we don't just judge on fraud. We judge on questionable AI decisions, right?
Yes.
And less on those things. So like how do we feel about that here? You know what I mean? What do we think? What are you thinking, Will?
So I'm going to put us on the table. I'm going to
okay.
You know, we are subject to this criticism.
Okay, got it.
We are on the table. Our opening song, Buckle Up, Let's Ride the Wave, is something we admitted 2 years ago when Josh did it. He wrote the lyrics with AI, and then he took those lyrics and he put them into whatever system and made the song.
Yeah, I made
AI.
the song with
all
AI.
of it. I think you took things we had written about the podcast, our websites, whatever.
I uploaded our marketing, like I uploaded our brand guidelines and voice guidelines that were done that year. I uploaded them in and used that to generate the stuff. So I tried to make a script, but the tool I used refused to use the script. So it made its own lyrics.
So the lyrics and the song are AI generated. We used it. We've not made $1 off of it. Like we still continue to lose money on the podcast. It's a great time. hobby casting. But when we think about using it, we're purporting to have a song at the front. And I've had a few people be like, dude, that song's catchy, or I like that song. Like, where'd you get it? I'm like, AI. I don't feel bad about that. I don't feel that we did anything wrong. But here's the thing. It's like if you're using it for a good purpose, you've used legal means, whatever. Is it music? Is it good music? It serves a purpose. It serves a purpose for us. It creates a little jingle. It creates a sense for the podcast. And folks, you'll notice, like even the beginning of this episode, we cut it just back to like the opening riff because we don't need the song every time, and the song's on the end of the episode. But like, is it good? It serves a functional purpose.
Yes. No, I don't. Well, like, here's the thing. Is there a difference between the music we created for the podcast and the idea of generating music to put on Spotify and Apple, right?
What if we were making money on the podcast? What if the podcast
but if we're making money on the podcast, it's not about the intro. Nobody's like, oh, I'm so hot into this. They're listening podcast to just because this intro is fire. You know what I mean? Like,
open our episode, skip to the end just to listen to the song.
Yeah, just to listen to the song. You know what I mean? Like, if we are making money on the podcast,
that's fair. That's fair.
We're making it for something different. The music is an embellishment as a part of the podcast experience. I don't know. That's why I might feel a little bit differently about that, as opposed to
I still have
music platforms.
I still have 3 like levels to this, right?
Okay.
What we're doing, I think, is level 1. It's like we there's no malice. It's not for any monetary gain specifically. It's fun. It's funny. Again, we used ethical means to get it, as far as we know, right? Number 2, though, is like, all right, so somebody's out there making music. They want to make AI music, and who knows? Do they do a little of their own editing? Do they put or are they literally just using prompts and making it from text? Okay, so there's number 2, but they make some music, they put it on Spotify, they make $10 a month on listens, right? Like, they're making nothing unless they go viral. But they want to make music. I want to put that there as with this number 2 person. Like, number 1, we're not making music, we're using music. There's a functional purpose. Number 2 is they want to make music. And they're trying to put it out there and make an artist of themselves. And number 3 is kind of more like this Michael Smith minus the fraud. Somebody who's just going to make as many songs as possible to flood the market with songs to make money, right? So it's like, we did it for fun.
Well, okay,
somebody's doing it because they're trying to make music, even though they're using AI. And then somebody's trying to use it, to make music to make money.
This is helpful. So my judgment here would be, if we're talking Michael Smith does this without his bots, just a bunch of music. While I respect the capitalistic method that is being used to not fully scam the system but play the game, I'm torn, because that side of me is like, you know what, man, go do your best life, go get that money. On my other end,
I think it's an issue. I think 3, I think it's an issue.
Problematic, because this is how we end up with what we've been calling like AI slop video content, music. It's there's something, and I have my own theological religious beliefs about this. Sure. There's something missing from the element of what's created. But I also struggle with this because, like, we talked about AI creating art and things, and it's a messy middle ground, right? So like, let's take this for a second, right? Let's go back to the middle space. The guy's just trying to make music using AI things. I'm still not fully comfortable with the guy who just like creates music entirely with AI, advertises it as his music, because there's an element of like, I don't know, like skill and creation in the music that's missing. But the thing that I struggle with, right, is like, I've been balking for a while at the game community's ridiculousness reactions about people using AI at all in the process of creating video games. I think it's absurd the way people are reacting and acting like this is like a biggest deal. Like a game that Will and I like, Claire Obscura, lost an award simply because they had an AI poster somewhere. Another company that we like was getting skewered. The guys who created Baldur's Gate 3 were getting skewered because they claimed to use AI in concept arting. And it's like, at one end of things, I just feel like it's like, okay, guys, chill. Like, it's a tool that they can use to cut back on some things. So like I balk at that, but do I feel different about music because I'm a musician? Like, am I biased
Fair.
about music because of that? But it's also, music to me feels so much more disingenuous than those circumstances we just mentioned. Because if you're pushing music out on a platform like that, you're advertising it like you created it. And it is different than like, it's different than using auto-tune or technical tools in music to like enhance your music. You're using those skills to create interesting music and sounds and combine them, as opposed to like with AI. Okay, yeah, you're good at prompting AI to create sounds and music, but the AI music is so much just a diatribe of other music on the internet. But then like we've also made arguments that so is every human creation.
And this is not the first time we've had this issue in music, where we've had lawsuits over chord progressions, lyrics, etc., artist to artist, right? Yeah. Where it's like, excuse me, Taylor Swift had an issue with one of the other, female vocalists. So they're now like friends and BFFs about it, but like something she did in one of her chords was in a Taylor song. She's like, hello, this was like mine. So I get that side of it, and I'm very much so, or I stand strongly on the side of like intellectual property in general. I believe that more property should be commonly shared. I love things like Creative Commons, or like the kind of other ways to address copyright. But I also believe that if you have an idea and you stake claim to it and it's yours and you do not want to share it freely, that is your prerogative. I would love to share more information freely, but I believe in someone's right to say, this is my song. This is my blog. This is my idea.
If AI recreated a song that was basically
someone else's song,
like somebody else's song, it was literally an Ed Sheeran song, but they changed the lyrics. Like that's different. That's copyright problems. Like that's an issue. Right. But the issue becomes like with AI music, it starts just creating echoes of other music. But like we also do that all the time. Like musicians are always echoes of what came before them.
Even just sampling each other, right? Like that's a legitimate and constant tool that musicians use to sample each other or phrases or whatever. So here's the thing that I'd like it's very easy for us to see the extremes when there's no money involved or there's no art involved, and then when there's a Michael Smith. But what I'd like to see, what I would be interested in listening to the music of and giving the chance to enjoy it, like take it on as art, is someone who sat down with an ear for music, with an interest in it, but maybe not instrumental experience or ability, right? And it's like, I want to use AI to create something that sounds good, and then creates an artist's experience as a result of it, right? Because one of the things that Michael Smith might have done is like made 100,000 blues songs and then 2,000
that's basically
rap songs and whatever,
a whole
right?
bunch of different genre songs.
But if somebody came out, let's just say, I'm going to use Eminem as like a well-known name, right? But if somebody came out and went, I want to be the next Eminem, I just don't have musical ability, but maybe they wrote all their lyrics or they used AI to help them with it, but they've created an artist's experience or an artist's discography by making AI music. That's the one that like, hey, good luck. I think it's okay. Maybe I won't like the music, but I think it's the one thing that works here.
It's tough. I think what you're describing here is how is AI used as an artistic tool in the music creation process. And that's where I am trying to figure out what that looks like, right? Because like there are a lot of people who for a long time said like the guys who just take beats and rap on top of it are not musicians. I don't think that's fair. I think they create music. It's a different way of creating music. So like, I still don't believe any country artist is a musician, but that's a different problem.
I hope that goes viral. Wow.
I hope it does too.
Wow.
It's fine. That's a hot take from Josh. Sorry, they're musicians.
Put that in the hopper.
Not great ones. But it's amazing. I just don't know what that looks like right now. I think that's part of the thing, right? Because all the use I'm seeing of AI to create music is like I prompt it, it creates a song. Like, what else do you do?
Let's put it in the sense
right?
of like how we approach the HiTech podcast, right? Let's say someone sits down and goes, I want to make a band. I want to make a musical entity, an artist called the Pencils, right? I'm just looking at Pencils. And so the Pencils is going to be an R&B rap, experience.
I'm seeing the little streams of what he's wanted to start since his childhood.
I'm giving you this idea. If you want to go do it, I don't want to be involved in this. They take this Pencils band, they say R&B and rap, and they of their volition, they go, I want a narrative. The narrative is that I'm going to go through life, I'm going to experience these things, and over the 5 albums, and then they use AI to do everything from there, but they create a genre of it. They made some brand identity. They wrote, you know what I mean? Like if they couched it as something and then they let AI or they used AI to make the music that became that thing, there's still, that to me is more than just some Michael Smith. It's more than just sitting down going,
yeah, it's definitely different. It is definitely different, and it's making me question my perspective. It still feels slightly soulless to me.
Sure.
But it's a difficult thing because it's just I don't know the artistic editing that happens in that process, right? Like, okay, you create the marketing, you do all of those things. To me, you sound like a great music manager, and you should you should start a band.
I should go do this.
Pencils, you know what I mean? Like, go find people.
I'm going to call Judge Josh to the stand. I have a question for Judge Josh. Will he take the stand?
I'll take the stand.
You are a musician. You have professionally played music for and you still are able to play. You still play from time to time at church or whatever, right? But like, so you are a musician. I've always believed you were a musician.
I'm glad this is the belief that you have.
what is the experience of drumming to you? More specifically, what is it like to write a drum song? I guess the track for drumming.
Drum track.
I don't have the words, bro. I'm grilling you. You're on my stand, okay?
I mean, I don't know, man. You're asking me to get really existential about this. It's about when you're hearing the music and you're figuring out the beats, you're figuring out what works. It's about feel. It's about figuring out it's connecting to the song and trying to figure out what exactly works, what makes the sound the right way. And there's always, while drummers will play similar things, right? Like drum's a good example of this, where like drumming isn't really copyrighted. You can't copyright drum beats, okay? Because like that's stupid. Most rock songs are 4/4. Like you can't copyright 4/4 as a measure.
Whatever he says, folks, I have no idea.
That's a thing, right? Okay, so so drums is a good example of this, where it's like, yes, you can't copyright things, and like people are playing the same beats, right? Like it's not like I made some magic thing that no other drummers ever thought of. They're like, oh man, he hit the snare drum. I've never heard that before.
Every drummer has ever hit the snare drum.
Every drummer ever has done that. But it's about, every drummer kind of has like a vibe to the way they drum, right? That comes through the music that they're doing. So I don't know. It's a part of that. And in my experience, it was a band experience too. So it was like, it was a connection with those 4 or 5 people that like when you're working out songs, you're feeling out what makes the most sense, and you're feeling out what is gonna work and what you want to communicate through the song, the vibe that you're trying to create.
An exception to band music though is like solo artists who might be making all the decisions or working with their producer to make the decisions. Like an artist like NF or Eminem, they're not making all of the sounds that go in their tracks. They're writing their lyrics, they're deciding the vibe, but that like NF, Eminem, solo artist,
but
whatever.
A lot of them also have like producing
studio
skills,
bands,
and they're using they're using like softwares to create those sounds. The difference between, in my opinion, than that from what we're seeing with some of the AI generation is they're not like generating the sound. They're using the sounds and combining them into musical form. And a lot of what you're seeing with AI generation is AI creating the musical form. Already.
What I picked up on though, and why I asked and where we went with this, right? There's a point.
Okay.
What I picked up on though is that you said there's a feel. There is a vibe. There's a connectedness. You, as the artist, have an experience drumming. Yeah. And ironically, this very well not justifies, but speaks to our friend and colleague's upcoming session title, AI, on AI, where do I got it? Who does the thinking gets the learning? AI and cognitive outsourcing. Who does the thinking gets the learning? I would pair that to you and saying, who does the drumming gets the drum experience, right? Like you become a drummer by being the drumming. I'm poking fun at a couple different things here, but the point that I'm getting to is that in drumming, you became a drummer. In drumming, you became a musician. I am not a musician because I've never done all these things. I kind of did a screaming thing. I tried to do a band once, but I still would never claim to be a musician. Much like, if I might parry this for a second, you took karate once. Do you call yourself a martial artist?
No, not anymore. I'm a retired.
You may have, at one time, but like today, I still claim it, right? I've been doing it since I was 7 years old. I don't do it as much as I ever did. I'm not teaching actively. I'm trying to change that. There's a lot of things but I still identify as a martial artist. What if I sat down, this non-musician, and made the band The Pencils and did it where I was trying to connect with with music production? And I really did put in the effort, however, just prompting a ton or whatever, like to make a sound and make that sound consistent and make an album experience. Could I not become a musician?
No, I think you've connected. I think you've connected this for Judge Josh. Okay. This is my hot take, and I may take this back, but even the middle zone, I think I'm mostly not okay with. And here's why.
Okay.
So here's why. What you just described, right, is through doing this and playing, what you're doing is advertising yourself as a musician, what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
I think what still feels sketchy to me about the AI generated music is like, maybe there's some creativity in it, but you're advertising yourself as a musician. You're not. Like, I'm sorry. I don't care if you like wrote lyrics and then you put it in and you had AI make it. You're still not a musician. You might be a great poet and you put some music to it, and that has worth to it. And I think it's a different value, right? But like the ones who are
have songwriters as an example, right?
Yes,
plenty of songwriters in the music industry
so you're
who
a great
never
songwriter, and this is the way you visualize your vision. I maybe feel a little bit different about that, but with the person who's like literally just generated everything, put it on Spotify,
tomorrow.
Makes the band Pencils. The band Pencils isn't real. It's fake. There's no band Pencils. Okay, this is the same way that I think still fits cohesively with what I've said in past episodes about art, right? I'm okay with Will and I using it to generate stuff for assets, for things like that. But Will and I are never advertising ourselves as artists, right? And there is ways to use AI, like CGI as well, technology, to be an artist in a different way, but you're still using your artistic eye to create something, right? And I think where it becomes disingenuous for me is when you're promoting yourself as somebody with that skill without actually having that skill whatsoever used in the process.
If someone came up to me and said, "Oh, I'm a martial artist," like, "Oh, cool. What do you do? Tell me." And
I play Mortal Kombat. Like if they said I'm a martial artist and they said I play Mortal Kombat.
Yes.
Killed them,
thank you.
Right?
That is a safer example than I was going to set up because I was going to get a little spicy with where I was going with it. But that is a great. So then I would say to them, punch me. Literally punch me and I'll tell you if you're a martial artist, right? Yeah. Like I could evaluate someone else's martial artistness. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, and I could tell you that they're not a martial artist. It's still my subjective opinion, but I bet you we could validate that with more than one.
I'd feel the same way about podcasting, right? Like, I'm okay with people using AI to generate, like, podcasting for a learning environment where they want to create a different modality for somebody to learn from. I'm not okay with someone AI generating a podcast, posting it to YouTube and saying, "Look, I'm a podcaster."
And then getting more views than us and subscriptions and making money on it?
Yeah, I know, it's stupid. And I think that's the problem, right? In the Spotify environment, you're advertising yourself as a band, a musician, and really all you're doing is it's not about the music. It's about creating something that you'll just make money off of the algorithm on. And whether that's a thing that we're moving towards or not, it feels disingenuous to me about what you're doing. And you're taking away scenarios where there are people who are genuinely putting effort into their music to get something. And I think that's the problem. That's where the line draws on art. It's where the line draws on music. It's where the line draws on podcasting, as opposed to us creating music for a stupid intro in the beginning of the podcast. But we are not claiming, well, I mean, like I can claim to be a musician, but for different reasons. We're not claiming to be.
That's actually why I had Josh make the song, because I can't claim to be a musician.
This is the HiTech podcast band. We're not claiming that.
Yes, let's do it.
That would be crazy. A nice hardcore. Anyway. I think it's a different thing. And I think it's for different purposes, right? I've seen like people using AI to create fun kids songs for kids to like listen to and have fun. I feel differently about that too than I do about this. Because the purpose is a little bit different. It's not.
I really like where this
all
is
the product and the purpose that you're trying to do. And if the purpose of product is art, then stop claiming to be an artist or a musician when you got AI. I really like
another
country song.
I really like where we stop offending our listener.
Sorry,
okay, the one person that we listen to probably is a country fan. I like where we've landed on this. I agree with you. At the same time, because I can relate it to something I care about. And I like, if someone came up to me and said, "I'm a martial artist, I play Mortal Kombat," I'd be like, "Go pound sand." Like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
And or started making money doing it. Like, excuse. But I would like to see someone genuinely try to be an AI music artist. And I'm agreeing with you. I don't think it's really the thing to be or a goal to strive for. But there's a sentiment there that I think someone could try. I think someone could try to make a genuine.
So too. I think it depends on what we're talking about, right? Like a perfect example of this would be is somebody using AI to create beats in a program that they're going to eventually then turn into like add to and turn into a song. I feel differently about that probably because there is some like creative artistry in the way you do that. I think really what we're coming down to is like the cutoff for me is like what we're not seeing people. Nobody's trying to do that right now. What they're doing is like you either have real musicians or you have technical.
Michael Smith.
You have computer collectives creating Mumford and Son knockoff music so they can make it into a playlist on Spotify. That's dumb. It needs to stop. And I think that's a bad use of AI. Verdict done. Judge Josh has declared his opinion. There you go. If you're doing that right now, I give you 20 years of stupidity as your judgment.
That's your verdict.
Yeah, which will involve country music in the background. Anyway, as a getter of mine. I'm just joking. All right, folks, it's a wrap on another week of judgment. Of decisions,
amazing,
of law and order. Dun dun. Okay. And also empowering minds,
embracing tech.
Cheers.
Cheers.